Hello, this is Pete, or Kenshin1913, along with
Mom.
And this is another Cooking with Kenshin1913. What are we making today?
Today we're making something sweet, and we call it
Crunchy Munchies.
To make our Crunchy Munchies, we need several different items. And this is going to be one size recipe, but if you want to double it or triple it or whatever you would like to do, that would be great. And so you're just going to use extra ingredients. This is a great gift item, like if you wanted to put it in a can or a jar to give away for the holidays. A friend gave this recipe to me a long time ago, and I actually have not made it in a while because it's addicting.
Yeah.
So once you start tasting it when it's done, you can't stop. It's
right.
that salt and sweet taste, and it gets you. It really gets you.
So viewer discretion advised.
Yes.
All right. So what is in it?
Okay. So there's M&Ms in it. There are
and you can use any color M&M. We got the holiday Christmas colors because they're out.
Yeah. I use honey roasted peanuts, golden grain cereal, corn or rice Chex or a mixture of them, pretzels, which we're going to crush.
Pretzel sticks. Well, they could be any pretzels.
They could be any kind of pretzels, but you don't want to get the real thick ones where it's going to be hard for you to crush them. And a bag of white chocolate that we're going to melt. So everything is going to go into one bowl. It's going to get coated with the chocolate, and then it's going to let it be hardened up. And then you're just going to break up the chocolate with all of the ingredients in it. Now, we're going to show you, I have made different kinds of recipes using chocolate. I used to do a lot of chocolates with the molds. So my favorite way of melting chocolate is kind of like over a double boiler. So what I have is a pan on the stove, and there's water in it, and then I put a bowl over that. But many people melt chocolate right in the microwave. So now we're going to show you how I do it. So I already put on my water, and as you can see, it's boiling. So I'm going to lower it to a simmer, because what you do not want to happen is you don't want the water to bubble over and get into where you're melting your chocolate. Water and chocolate do not mix. It's water like water and oil, and it will make the chocolate extremely hard.
Yeah, so she's just going to put...
So I'm going to...
I always thought you shut it off at this point.
Sometimes I will. Yeah. It depends on how fast the chocolate starts to melt. Right. And then, as you can see, so then I'm going to be able to lift this up. You don't have your pan. This is just moisture because of the steam, but the bowl does not touch the water.
Now you can always use a you can always use the microwave if you want. Yeah,
and you can use an actual double boiler pan. Many people have that.
But this just kind of gives you some more control over what you're doing. So pretty much what my mom's doing is going to put the whole bag, which is about a pound, right?
I think they're 12 ounces now.
12 ounces.
The chocolate may be a pound. I'm not sure.
So originally this recipe, you could put any kind of nut. They have the original recipe calls for peanuts. That's what we usually use. Honey
roasted peanuts, but you could use anything. And of course, if you're allergic to peanuts, you could eliminate them.
Yeah, peanuts.
You could put something else in it if you chose to. You could put raisins in it, or something else.
Now,
can I get a hot?
Now, originally this recipe was called. You want the one with the pan? Originally, also this recipe was called white trash, which we don't like using that term. But yeah, it's because it has all kinds of. It's I think it's just because of the chocolate. And it's using white chocolate rather than dark chocolate. Or even milk. So now we're just going to melt this.
And this is going to take a few minutes. So
Right.
I'm going to turn actually the heat off. And we're just going to have to wait a few minutes and then we'll come back and I'll show you once it's melted. So here is our white chocolate melted.
Right.
Now this white chocolate gave me a little bit of trouble, and I have noticed white chocolate is a little bit more difficult to work with anyway. Even when I'm using the melting wafers, when I'm doing, you know, candies and things like that. So anytime you have your chocolate that seems to be on the thicker side, all you need to do is to add some oil. So you start off with maybe a little vegetable oil, maybe about a teaspoon. Mix it in. And then if you need a little bit more, you can keep mixing it in until it's the consistency that you need.
Yeah. Because this one was not melting. It was being a little bit of a bitch to us. But we were able to get it. My mom was able to wrangle it and melt it. And it was all good. So, yeah. So now we have it.
I'm just going to leave this on the heat.
Would you mind just lifting the spoon and showing us, like, seeing it drip or anything? Yeah, so it's got to be kind of...
It's thick.
It's thick, but we need it to be kind of thickish because you got to coat all that good stuff. So we're going to leave it here, let it stay warm while we get the other ingredients ready.
Okay, so how we're going to break our pretzels up, I put them in a Ziploc bag. And you could either go with your hand, okay, take out a little frustration, or you can get a rolling pin, or I have this bottle.
Now you don't want to crunch them unrecognizable, but you want to kind of get them in a little bitty pieces. And these are like little pretzel sticks, like the Amish pretzel sticks. I don't know what the hell the difference is, to be honest.
No, there's no real. There's not. I don't think there's.
Yeah, except maybe Amish.
It's the real thick ones that you don't want to use because you'll be crushing them all night.
Yeah, and don't try to use any like ones that are like flavored. Like
yeah, they got to be just regular pretzels with salt.
Right.
Okay.
So now we're gonna.
So I've got my crust pretzels. Okay, so you've got some whole pieces. You got all different little kinds of pieces.
Right.
So
and that should equal to about what, like a cup?
This should be about a cup and a half. So that's 1 cup.
Oh, watch your arm. Alright,
And
that's about a half a cup.
Yep. So that was just enough. Now we're just gonna dump.
Yeah.
So I got my peanuts.
That's how much peanuts? Half cup?
A fourth of a cup.
Fourth of a cup of peanuts. I'll have all the stuff.
It could be a little more. You don't have to be exactly precise.
I'll have the precise measurements of everything on that.
The golden grains were 1.5 cups. A cup of the Chex and your M&Ms.
Right.
We're going to just give this a quick mix. And you want to do this in a big bowl. Now, as you can see, this is a pretty big Pyrex bowl. So if you're doubling your recipe, you got to figure it's going to come up to here. So you got to have a big enough bowl to be able to mix.
Yeah, and as my mom said, this is one serving, or not serving, but if you need to, you can double the recipe, or even quadruple it or triple it, I guess, if you find that you know.
Or you can make it in smaller batches.
Right. The thing about it is like my mom said in the beginning, these are great for little gifts. If you want to make like little gift
homemade,
baskets,
homemade gifts.
Candies and stuff.
So what we're going to do is just kind of dollop this into the mixture. And you know, as much trouble as sometimes we have with the white chocolate, I did try this with dark chocolate, you know, milk chocolate. I don't know, there was something about the white chocolate that was just heavenly.
Yeah.
I didn't care for it as much with the milk chocolate, but again, that's all your preference. So you can add other things in here that you may enjoy.
Right, different nuts or even different like different Chex. I guess you could throw the wheat ones in if you really wanted to as well. You don't even need those particular M&Ms. If you wanted to, you can use the peanut butter ones or something, and then use a different nut because you're still going to get the peanut.
Yeah, and you know what? Any kind of cereal, really. You could probably put, like, you know, they have the ones that are
well, I think the reason
peanut butter. They're like round.
Yeah, I think the reason why they use the golden grams is to give it an extra oomph of sweetness, because the golden grams in this mixture is really like something that it pops out at you, because you get the pretzels and you get the golden grams, and then the Chex are kind of plain and the M&Ms are kind of there, you know. But I really think the golden grams and the other thing is what really gets you.
Okay. Now what we're gonna do is we're going to dump this out on parchment paper lined cookie sheet, and it came out pretty. Look how easily it actually came out of the bowl. And we're just gonna move it around a little bit so it's not all in one big lump.
Yeah, you want to try to flatten it down into like a sheet almost. But trying to keep everything together. You don't make it too crazy.
Just kind of like that, you know, so that it's not all one big lump.
Right.
Because then this is going to go into the refrigerator and cool and harden. And then you can break it up into little pieces.
Yeah, we'll show you that when we're all set.
So as this is just one part of a recipe, as you can imagine, if you do, you know, a double recipe or even more, what I would do is try not to do more than 2 of the recipes combined together, because then it just do a double batch each time, even if you want to make a lot more, because it just gets too, you're going to have a gigantic bowl if you're making like triple batches and so forth.
So yeah, we're going to probably put this in we're going to put it in the fridge for about, what would you say, an hour or 2?
About an hour. That's all it needs.
So we'll be back and we'll show you what it looks like and how crunchy it'll be when it comes out. Okay,
so it's been about an hour, and we have taken this out of the refrigerator. You can tell it's hard as a rock, see? And that's why you use parchment. And then you're just going to break it.
Just like that. It's really simple. And if you get pieces that are too big, then just break them up.
Yep, see?
Yeah. You want to
and these look very nice, you know, bagged up or put in a tin, or even a jar.
Right, and yeah, it is tasty. Very tasty, and try to keep it to a minimum, because man, oh man, are these addictive. Especially the pretzel part with the golden grams and the white chocolate. This is unbelievable.
So they don't have to be refrigerated after this.
Nope.
Like I said, just, you know, keep in a cool, dry place.
Right.
And they're fine. You just have to not expect them to be around too long.
Yeah, because they'll go fast. Alright, so here is our Crunchy Munchies. So I broke off a piece right here that pretty much has everything. It's got an M&M, it's got a peanut, it's got some golden grams, it's got some Chex and pretzels. You get a cornucopia of flavors. Sweet from the chocolate, the M&M, and the golden graham. Salty from the pretzel, and the peanut. Honestly, my favorite part right here if you want to know mine, this is why I stopped eating it, because it's addicting. But right here, you break it off, you get a piece of the golden graham. I don't know what it is about golden grahams and white chocolate. It's unbelievably good. So I've been Pete for Kenshin1913 along with
Mom.
This has been another Cooking with Kenshin1913.
Enjoy and happy eating.